Across both forensic programs, so the Bachelor of Forensic Science and the Bachelor of Forensic Science with Criminology and Criminal Justice, we've got approximately 120 first-year students. Try to identify ways that we could use PebblePad throughout the entire program. So I started becoming involved in it from my work with Chemistry 1A, which is generic, and all of the forensic science students do that course. And so then it was a matter of building on the PebblePad that we've done there, seeing how else we could implement it in different courses within the same program. So in Chemistry 1A, they're doing a reflection on each of 5 different laboratory classes. So each lab lasts for 3 hours, they work in pairs, and then at the end of that, they're encouraged to go open up their PebblePad workbook and think about what they actually learn in the laboratory, rather than just kind of racing through it in the fastest possible time, to say, what skills have I learned? What am I trying to do? Do I feel confident that I could do this again? You know, did I learn enough to think, actually, I've nailed that technique? Or am I like, oh, well, I've done it, but I'd really like to have another go? Over the time, they're building up different pieces of information that they'll eventually need to collate together. So created a PebblePad workbook where they can record, they can keep going back into it and adding to it. So it's a continual piece of work rather than short individual pieces. For the really good students, they see the benefit from the beginning, and they can see, I always say to them, you've got to think about the skills that you're learning in first year, you're going to need to know for second year, and you're going to need to know for final year. If you stay on to do honours or further research, these are skills that will live with you forever. This gives them a chance to create a set of data that they can go back in a year's time and say, oh, I did do that. I remember what I did. This is what I went through. Now it makes more sense. Now I can see how I'm going to do that tomorrow in my next level lab class. Partly it was to make sure that if we could develop Pebble activities to run through the forensic courses, then kind of almost regardless of what other academics were doing in their programs, we had a thread running through the centre of all of ours. The other benefit I see from Pebble is you can collate all that information in one place. So even if we don't ask them to generate a portfolio at the end of it, which I think is a useful thing to do, but haven't quite figured out how to fit that into the program. But if even without the electronic portfolio, if they have got files in their Pebble space, the reflections they did on their health and safety lab in trimester 1 of year 1, and the information that they do in their second year course on laboratory accreditation, and the information that we give them in third year classes specific to their discipline, then suddenly when the selection criteria ask them about what they understand about working under legislation and dealing with health and safety and what legislative controls there are in laboratories and handling samples, they can suddenly go, oh my goodness, look at this. In my Pebble, I've got this and this and this and this, all of which address those selection criteria.